Hi, my name's Paul Cresswell. Welcome to Paul's Tackle Reviews. The purpose of this channel is to give you reviews of tackle that's been out on the bank, tried and tested by an unbiased, unsponsored angler, and that's me. As I say with all of my videos, what worked for me might not work for you, but I'll try and give you all the information so you can make your own mind up. Today, just a short video about something very small, and that's Dacron connectors. And I, over the last 18 months, I think, I've been using the Preston slip Dacron connectors in various sizes, and I've been getting on really well with them. So when I started fishing, everybody used a plastic stomfo. That was the only option. People then started going to a crow's foot, where they just tied a double overhand loop, cut it off and attached the line straight to the elastic. We then moved on to Dacron, and I don't know when that was, but I'm guessing kind of 20 years ago that Dacron first started being used. And the current method that's quite fashionable is a kind of variation. You take the bead out of this, you put that on your elastic, you tie a little knot in the end, and you attach your loop directly to the elastic and pull the little bead down, and that's quite popular at the minute. So when you're using elastic, it does eventually perish and rot, and some elastics are better than others. What is it that makes them do that? And I'm pretty convinced the answer is light. And I'm not just talking about sunlight, I'm talking about any kind of light, even artificial light. So this is why I have tried the bead on the elastic connector, but I didn't feel it was any better than a Dacron, and I don't like the idea of having elastic hanging out the end of the pole tip, even a very small amount, because that is going to get damaged by light, and if you lose a prize fish because of that, you're really going to kick yourself. In the same way, I don't like this new trend, whereas at the bead on the side puller, you have a bit more elastic hanging out of the bead, so that can give you more elastic. I just think it could be sat in the sun 6 hours when you're out fishing. I just feel it's going to lead to you needing to change the elastic more frequently and run the risk that you will lose a fish because the elastic snaps. I watched a video on this on YouTube. I'll put the link below. It's by Edge Tackle, and it's called How Elastic is Made and Different Types. And if you go 9 minutes into this video, you see a guy who put some in various bits of carbon and left it outside. I think it was over a year. The elastic inside was perfectly fine. The only bits that were damaged were the bits that were exposed to light. And even if you fold your top kits over and you have a tiny bit on display just in the garage, so artificial light, that light will damage that elastic. That's part of the reason I use the Preston hookups on my top kits, so that I don't then take my rig, hook it on the bottom, and I have a load of elastic sticking out the top while it's on the roost not being used. That elastic is going to suffer damage, especially in really hot weather. So I've tried the bead, I've gone back to Dacrons. There's a lot of Dacrons out there. I've used various ones over the years, but this one I feel is slightly different, and it's the best Dacron that I've used. Why is that? And I'll put some photos, but you'll see the bead is quite rounded, and What that means is there's a recess in the bead where the knot can go. Sometimes when you tie a Dacron on and then you pull the bead down, you can have a bit showing out the bottom, or you have to trim it really close to the knot, which I don't like doing. This enables you to have a slightly longer tag after the knot, but still you can't see it's inside the bead. What I'll do in a bit is I'll put a video of me tying the knot I use to attach it, and then showing you how you can leave a slightly longer tag and then cover that up. So the three sizes I use are micro, again I'll put photos, small and medium. So I use the micro for 1.2 and 1.4 hybrid. So that's kind of a 5 and a 7, or a 4 to 6 and a 6 to 8. I use the small for 1.6 and 1.8 and 9 and 11. And then I use the medium in the 2 and the 2.4, and up to 2.4, which is a kind of 13, 15, 17. It's a little bit tight with the 17. They do a large one. I haven't tried that yet. I do tend to use Stomfos on really big elastics. It's just a personal preference. They are a really stiff Dacron, which is exactly what you want, because what you want is it to sit at the end of your tip and keep your line away from the tip, especially if you're slapping. You don't want to get your line over, you get a bite, no elastic comes out, or mayhem ensues. And it's a kind of soft bead, and Preston have made some things like their new quick change elastic beads, quick change beads for the method feeder, that are just too firm for me. But these are nice and soft, so if you do lose a fish and it comes crashing back, you're not going to have a problem on the pole. I'm going to move the camera, show you the knot I use. This is a knot that Des Ship demonstrated. It could have been easily a couple of years ago in one of his Q&As. I've used this knot ever since. I've never lost a Dacron at the knot using this particular knot. I'm going to tie a 2mm map elastic, hybrid elastic, so that's 12 to 14, I call that 13, and I'm going to tie it to one of the medium ones. So here we have the Dacrons. They come on this little device, so you just pull that off as such, as so. I can't see my hands again. So I've got my elastic here, thread that through. So you need a little bit of elastic there. So then I bring that round, so that bit is in front. I take it round the back and then back through the front. I would then put a bit of liquid on and pull that tight. Pull that down to the bottom. See there, we've got a really good strong one. So there, I've left what you might call a long tag. I know on a lot of Dacrons you have to cut it right down, and there you can see the tag and the knot are both housed inside the little bead, and that's perfect. Like I say, never had a problem with it. I hope you found that interesting. It's never easy to film these things when you've got your arm around the camera, so hopefully it was clear. Now, what I'm saying is you don't have to swap to these, and if you're happy with your current method of attaching your rig to your elastic, then you don't need to do anything. But if you're not quite getting on with it, or you may be on plastic connectors and you feel you want to go to Dacron, or you're taking my advice with the sunlight affecting you, and you want to try something, I would recommend these. I think these are as good as Dacron gets for me. They're not overly long, and I've just had no problems using them for the last 18 months. That's it for today. Fairly short video. If you want to give me a like and a subscribe, that'll be great. I've got more videos coming. I've just bought a new rod, so that will give me something to test as well. Until next time, tight lines.